Hello and welcome to today's video and Happy New Year. Today I'm going to be going over my bookshelf for January. I've got some winter books and some books to celebrate the new year, and I've also got some Hanukkah books to show you. So let's get into it. So starting off with Winter by Shirley Hughes. I've got one of these in every season from the nursery collection, and it's just a small little book with lots of poems and short stories just about the season of winter. So this one's just a really nice one to put on the shelf. Next, I've got Elmer. This one's by David McKee, and this is just a silly little story. We've got quite a lot of the Elmer books, so it's just a character that they know, and they will really enjoy this story about him playing in the snow. Next, I've got One Snowy Night, and it's by Nick Butterworth. It's from Percy the Parkkeeper story. I love this book. It's a snowy night, and all of the animals just appear in Percy's hut, and it's about him letting them in and finding a place for them to sleep. And then at the end, it has a picture of them all sort of tucked in together. It's just a really, really nice little story, and I love all of the Percy the Parkkeeper stories, so that's a really nice one. Next, I have Fletcher and the Stars. This one's by Julia Rawlinson, and it's about Fletcher and his friend Badger, and Badger's trying to overcome his fear of the dark. This is a really gorgeous story. Let me show you the end papers there, and I'll show you some of the illustration style. It's a really nice style of drawing. It's got this sort of like thick pastel paintwork. Now look. And then on the end, it has a shimmery page. Let me show you that. So you can see that shimmer in there. So that's a really, really nice story. I like all of the Fletcher books. There's a whole list of them at the back. There, look. That's a really nice one. Next, I have this one, Just Like You, by Jane Chapman. It's a bit of a filler book, but it's a good time to read it in the winter because it's got all the snow. And it's just about this little mammoth who's trying to follow, I think it's his granddad, but he can't walk that far and struggles to keep up. But it's just a really nice, sweet little story. So that one's going on my winter bookshelf this year. This one is Little Penguin Lost, and it's by Tracy Cordery. This one, again, it's just a bit of a filler story because it's snowy, but a sweet little story all the same, and going on the winter bookshelf. Next, I have Snow Bears by Martin Waddum. This one is just about mum and cubs playing together in the snow. Just a really, really sweet, cozy story. And probably it's an old one, so people might be familiar with this one. Next, I have this book, If I Had a Polar Bear by Gabby Dorney. I've not actually read this one. Harry got this for Christmas. It just says on the back, I'd like to get a mighty pet, extremely big and bold, a sturdy sort of furry pet to cuddle when it's cold. Imagine if I had a polar bear. And it looks as if there's a whole series of these style of books. I did just have a little flick through. I'll show you the end papers. And it looks as if it's a bit festive. They've got like a gingerbread village there, and polar bear pulling the sleigh. So I might just read it where we can still get away with it with the tree up. But then I think it'll have to go away for next Christmas. Next, I have Two Bears, and this is by Patricia Hegarty. And this story is about two bears, polar bear and a grizzly bear, and they're sort of celebrating their similarities. And it's got a really nice sort of message behind about the environment and looking after the world we live in, because the polar bear's habitat's getting destroyed. And then in the end, they sort of make a halfway baby between them. So That's a cute little story. Next, I have Iris and Isaac by Catherine Rayner. I absolutely love the illustration style of Catherine Rayner. Let me show you that sort of style. This one is about, actually get pigs quick to me. This one is about two polar bears and they sort of have a little bit of a falling out. And then they are traveling around and they sort of go, oh, I know who would like this. And it's the other one. And they realize that they miss each other quite a lot. So, but this watercolors and really soft illustration style is so nice. That's the Northern Lights. So, and then in the end, they make up and snuggle down in their den together. It's a really, really nice story. The next one I have is The Lights That Dance at Night by Yerval Sommer. This one is told from the Northern Lights perspective, and it just follows all the people that are looking up at them. Again, really, really lovely illustration style, really sort of simple story, really cozy. And I really like this illustrator as well. There you go. Next, I have Winter Story by Jill Barklam. And this one is about the turning of the season and the mice getting ready for an ice party. I'll show you the illustrations. It's a really sort of busy sort of style of illustration, which I really like. She could talk about the details with the children and get them to point stuff out. So much detail goes in here. And to make it look so sort of real, I think is quite nice. That's that one. Next, I have Winnie in Winter. This one's by Valerie Thomas. This one's just a silly story about Winnie being sick of winter, and then she makes it summer in her garden, but then she has a lot of visitors and that annoys her. So that's just a silly story, but obviously going on the winter bookshelf. The next one I have to show you is The Ice Bear. And this one, to be honest, the story goes over the boys' heads. It's about a polar bear, and the polar bear has two cubs, and one of the cubs gets sort of dropped into this human village and then is raised as a human. And the polar bear sort of yearns for what she's lost. So it's a bit of a complicated story, but the illustrations in it are absolutely gorgeous. That's the end papers. And I'll just show you some of the illustration styles there. It's a pretty big book. And with the Northern Lights. And people living with the polar bears. So yeah, really, really gorgeous book. Such detailed illustrations. The next two I have to show you are some Hanukkah books. Hanukkah is ending on the 2nd of January this year. So I've got 8 Nights, 8 Lights by Natalie Barnes. And then I've just got Happy Hanukkah Corduroy. And it says here on the back, based on the character created by Don Freeman. So this is just a little board book about Corduroy celebrating Hanukkah. So we can learn about that. And then I believe this one follows the story of 8 families, one for each night. And talks about the different celebrations that people do for Hanukkah. So that's a really, really nice one. It would be nice to learn about that festival. And then I'll also put a couple of board books on the bookshelf. So this one's just That's Not My Polar Bear. It's a very well-loved book. Sun has had to be repaired a few times. But I'm sure you're familiar with the style of book where they just go, where the children can touch and feel the different pages. So that's that one. And then I've got Winter by Gerda Muller, and these are just full page illustrations. It's a wordless book, but there's a lot to sort of see in there and get some ideas for how to celebrate winter. I actually think this one has some Christmassy stuff in it as well. And the last books I have to show you are just sort of ones about the turning of the year. So I've got There Is a Season, and this is by Murphy's Sketches. And it's got some pages on winter. So as the year is starting out, it's nice to talk about sort of what's going to come. So there's some winter pages there to look at. And then I've got a book here, so Disney 365 stories, and there is a story for each day of the year. So it's just like that. So a small story from each of the Disney films. Similarly, I've got this one, I Am the Seed That Grew the Tree, and a nature poem for every day of the year. Just show you the illustration style of those. So it'll be nice to have this out, and we can just have a little flick through when we've got sort of time to, if we've got time to read one that day. And then I've just got a couple of sort of treasuries to show you. So I've just got this one, a treasury of nursery rhymes, and I'll just stick this on the shelf to have a look at. And then I like to get this one out as well, Aesop's Animal Fables. This has got a collection of stories. Again, the artwork in these are absolutely gorgeous. And there's quite a long format of stories in there. So it'd be nice to have a little read of a couple of these. So that is everything I have got for my winter bookshelf this year. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.